Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And Three of Swords. This isn't the best way to begin, but I think it's better that we know this is here than to ignore it or not be aware of it. Okay? This is the card of sorrow. This is the card that says something ain't right. Okay? There's an underlying dissatisfaction. It's kind of almost a feeling that nothing I do is working. Nothing I do is gonna work. Why does this keep happening to me? Okay? We need to put this card into some context because we need to see how to get out of this state. We need to see what to do to bring things together, to get harmony, to get love, to get success and happiness in our lives. Okay? Let's see what's going on here. Why do we feel this way? Why is this the kind of central energy for you? Okay, why is this your situation? Okay, it's Saturn in Libra. To me, it feels as if well, maybe there's been a loss. You have my sincere condolences if someone in your life has transitioned into spirit. I feel as if there is there's a restriction on your ability to connect with other people. So there's been some kind of a split, a separation from some energy that we really wanted. Okay, so there is kind of a loss in that way. All right, let's see what we have. We've got the Chariot. We have an Ace of Pentacles. We have an 8 of Wands, but a 9 of Cups, yeah, and a 9 of Swords in the future position. I think to get to the 9 of Cups, we're going to have to go through this process. This is a process of grieving and healing, okay? Here we have the Hierophant, the Magician, the world or the universe, and the Fool. You have this divine support in your life right now. Spirit is on your team, okay? I think that indeed you got some rather devastating news recently, okay? It could be the news that a loved one has passed into spirit. It could be a message of, well, it could be a breakup. It could be the message of anything. We don't need to go into those details. I don't need to speculate on what that is for you. Okay, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set this down right over here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. Happy little Bob, right, guarding that mystery card for us. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you know what that card is, please put your prediction in the comments. I'm thinking 9, 10 of Cups, right? Let's look around the room. You got a major arcana over here. Okay, that's your task right now. Okay, your task is to keep going and get through this. And as we do that, we're activating the divine forces in our lives. Spirit wants you to know that you're strong enough to get through this and to get to the other side, to get through the briar patch, okay, and get the freedom, the love, get the magic, get the wisdom from the experience. This is kind of a grieving process here. Maybe it's the loss of a job, maybe it's the loss of a pet or of another loved one. I'm feeling like there was, I don't know if this is the same situation, but there was someone, you lost someone that was like the same age as you, right? But I feel like this was a long time ago. I feel like it was, I don't know if it was a sibling or, like a brother or a sister, someone your age, a best friend, somebody that was your age that you lost. It was a while ago, and I don't know, maybe now with the Three of Swords, if this is us kind of remembering that time, I don't know if it's the anniversary of somebody's passing, or if there's something that's kind of reminded you of them. The Eight of Wands is getting to me here because this is in the past. For me, this feels like the recent past. But I feel like you just like saw a letter from them or a text message that you had in your phone or like an old picture or something. I feel like you just kind of very recently were reminded of something. Okay? And I don't know if that's exactly related to what we're going through right now, or if this is kind of what has sort of prompted this Three of Swords feeling. Very often the Three of Swords is about the memory of something happening, not about the actual thing happening. Does that make sense? So in some ways, we're remembering what something was back here, but it's hurting us now. And we realize that we've got to push through this and build our life in the way that we wish. Okay, so it's interesting, these two cards, to say the least. But we've got fire, we've got water, we've got some air, and we've got our earth cards. So we have a lot of balanced energy, and then of course spirit right in the middle. And of course you have this spiritual, this big pillar of spiritual energy here in your life. And I think it's very important for you. I think you're somebody with a strong connection with spirit. Okay, and I think it's your faith really that's going to get you through a lot of this feeling right now. Whatever the origin of our Three of Swords, whatever the sort of reason for this sorrow that we're experiencing right now, Spirit wants you to know that you're strong. Spirit wants you to know that you can get through this. Okay, Spirit wants you to know that you are loved and you are protected. Okay, and the thing about the Three and even the Nine of Swords is we don't like those cards, right? But it's better to know and better to recognize and admit that's where I'm at. Because the only way to go from here is up. Okay? I feel like really this is you achieving a freedom. This is you really leveling up your life. I don't know that this particular energy right now is related to the contemporary loved one that passed in your distant past. And there may be a B name for that person. I don't know who the B person is in your life. This may be the loss of a job. This may be the failure of a project. This could be a falling out with a friend. It could be a family issue that we're going through. It doesn't have to be the passing of a loved one into spirit. Okay. The Three of Swords is the sorrow that we feel, and it is a Saturn and Libra energy. It is a restriction or a reduction, a contraction of our circle. It feels like our world has gotten smaller. Okay, it feels like we have lost a connection with somebody. Could have had a falling out with a friend. It has to do with this Eight of Wands, which to me it feels like a very sudden and surprising thing. To me, it feels like a message that came out of nowhere in your life. Okay, and I think this was very recent. Again, it could be that somebody had mentioned something, or you could have got a text message, or somebody had this conversation with you right out of nowhere. Could be like just one day the boss takes us into the office and says, you're fired, right? And it happens. This could be someone that breaks up with us for no reason. Like we don't understand. It came out of nowhere. Okay. Whatever this was, I think it happened very suddenly for you, and it was unexpected. And rightfully so, it puts us in a bit of a Three of Swords state. Okay. Now, underneath the surface, we have an Ace of Pentacles. You know that you're capable of picking up the pieces and starting again. If this is the loss of a job, if this is someone breaking up with us, if this is a project that failed, maybe this is you wrote a book and the publisher said, we were so confident the publisher would love it. Publisher said, nah, I don't want it. Okay, we're in the Three of Swords, but I think you know inside that I can start again, that I can take a step forward, that we're capable of moving forward from this. Okay, and I think when you're ready, this is going to be the energy that you need. And it's going to basically be the Chariot here. that is saying, okay, you know what? It's time to go forward. It's time to deal with my feelings. It's time to deal with the effects of this. It's time for me to push through. Now, nobody is going to tell you, or nobody should tell you, how to process your feelings, how to grieve, or what the timeline is. There is no process. There is no order of operations for grief, right? Or for dealing with a kind of a Three of Swords situation. Okay? Spirit's saying when you're ready, you have everything that you need to continue your journey, to continue your quest in life, and to push through. But the immediate future is the pain. The immediate future is the briar patch. You got to go through the thorns to get to the rose, okay? When you're ready, nobody's telling you what to do. And this, whatever the circumstances are for you, what you're hoping for, what you want in life, obviously, right? You just want to be happy. You want to have abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. You want to live a happy life. I want to feel good. I want to have good things. I want to have good people in my life, pets, plants. I want to be with my family, my loved ones. I want to do creative things. I want to love and be loved. Like, that's all I want, right? It's not too much to ask. But what we're looking at right in front of us, right? When we're looking this way, we see pain. We see the storm. We see the briar patch. We're looking up and we're thinking, can I just have some good days, please? Okay. And so this is what we're trying to create in life. And we know that the only way to get that is to take this step. Okay. And this is underneath the surface. So I want to make sure that the message from Spirit's coming through. You're capable of going forward. You're capable of doing it. You're capable of succeeding or having the happiness that you want. You may not feel you have it now, but you're capable of building it, of achieving it, of creating it. You are the magician. You may not believe that you're capable of it. Sometimes when we're in a Three of Swords and a Nine of Swords sort of state, we don't feel as if there's any option. We may not feel like there is any steps that we can take, but there are. Okay, there are steps that we can take. I think in some ways this is there are a lot of resources to you. Okay, the Hierophant over here is saying that there are resources. I guarantee it in your area, wherever you are locally. Places that you can call, where you can reach out and you can get any kind of assistance or help that you may need right now. Okay, that's number one. I think that this is more of a separation or a severing of ties with something. I kind of feel like we got let go of our job really, really suddenly, or something like that happened, okay? Because of the swiftness with which the Eight of Wands it kind of appears in our life, and it's just out of the blue, we're going through life, normal, just skipping along, then suddenly we get that text message, suddenly we get that letter in the mail, okay? Maybe this could be anything, and I don't want to go through all the different things it could be, but it could be a phone call, it could be a letter in the mail, it could be an email we get that just sends us into this Three of Swords, okay? I don't want to invoke any of those scenarios, so we're not going to touch that, all right? But you know what it is. And Spirit wants you to know that you're capable of moving forward through this and getting through whatever this is. If this is a job situation, a financial thing, if it's some kind of a legal matter, you can do it. You can be happy still, okay? We gotta go through the pain and the difficulty that's immediately ahead of us. But guess what? You have as your final outcome, long-term outcome here, is the freedom and the leveling up, the transcendence of the Fool. Short term, yeah, pain, going through the briar patch. But long term, you got freedom, you've got transcendence, okay? And you're going to get that happiness. Now, talking about the path of the serpent. As we talk about this path, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are totally free, okay? Now, the one thing I want to point out first, though, about the Nine of Swords, it is a Mars in Gemini kind of energy. So to me, it almost feels like it's moving forward. What you're looking at right in front of you is pain. It feels like the world is being cruel to you. Okay, it feels like there is going to be some hardship right in front of you. Mars in Gemini feels like something is against you. Okay, it feels like a battle that's you're going through the briar patch. It's going to hurt. All right. Now, the Hierophant, as your general energy, is a couple of different things. One, it's your ability to learn from this experience. I know that doesn't really help, does it? Doesn't make us feel any better. You're going to learn a very important lesson here. Yeah, gee, thanks. So I get it. This is a card of seeking out the appropriate sort of assistance that you need. Don't be nervous about contacting a professional. Maybe this is a doctor, a lawyer, a professional of some kind, okay? In fact, I think that this is something that you know is probably the next step for you, is going to reach out to somebody that can offer assistance. If this is a legal matter, obviously first thing you got to do, you got to find a lawyer, right? If this is a financial thing, first thing you got to do maybe is, find a professional that can give you some advice, right? This is the card of seeking out assistance from somebody outside of the situation that can guide us a little bit. Okay? Could be a counselor, could be a doctor, could be a family member, a friend. Seeking out the wisdom from somebody who's not involved that can help guide you through the process. Okay? That's a very important step here. Okay? But Spirit also wants to reinforce this idea that regardless of what this is, you're strong enough to get through it. Okay, there is growth and expansion and wisdom that is on the other side of this. There is transcendence. There is leveling up. We may not understand why this happened, okay, or what the purpose of it is, but it seems like ultimately it is for your best good, for your highest good. Okay, this is kind of like the final battle. This is the worst of the worst. This is like you're getting to the final boss here in Super Mario World, and you defeat that and you've won. And you get through this and you're free. This is the last hurdle. Okay, maybe this situation is that we thought we had gotten through the hurdle, but we got some bad news. Okay, so we got to go through this hoop again, or we have an even bigger hurdle in front of us now. This could be the feeling of a setback or of a failure or of a loss, of in terms of the progress of what we're working on, right? Because it feels as if with the Chariot here, if there is a quest, if there is a movement forward, this is us getting stuck here. We got the bad news. This is like the tire popped, the transmission blew out. And so the Chariot is kind of stuck. We broke an axle, right? And the Chariot is stuck. The car is broken down, and we feel pissed, right? We feel hurt. We feel a lot of things. Okay, all we're trying to do is get free, get happy, and live our life, and build our reality. Well, we're going to have to go through the pain now of walking to the gas station, calling the tow truck, fixing the axle, changing the tire, whatever it might be. But there's a lot of wisdom that's coming through that, and I think that we do need to contact a professional. Maybe we have to get the car repaired by a mechanic. It's not something we can do it ourselves, In the environment, you have the magician energy. Okay, I think this is kind of like your ability to talk to people. The magician is someone who can cause change and conformity with their will. So it could be that you're going through a process of becoming the magician, learning how to apply your energy to your current circumstances, whatever they might be, and getting the best outcome that you can from it. Okay, you're driving down the road, you get a flat tire. What's the absolute best thing that could happen? What is the most ideal thing? Well, that the tire fixes itself. Well, that doesn't really happen, right? The best case scenario is that I have a spare in the trunk. I can take 10 minutes, I can change the tire, and I'm back on the road with minimal loss. Okay? That's the best thing. Other options, well, we can call AAA or whatever, call a tow truck, have them come out and help us out, charge us money or whatever, and get it done. It's going to take a lot longer, but the magician is able to adapt and function in whatever situation you're in. So this card is here in your environments, here in your relationships. It's your ability to respond appropriately to whatever the circumstances are. If this was a letter or a text message or a conversation with somebody, this is you kind of in real time understanding how to respond to that, how to communicate back, how to have that exchange that's going to help you to get the best outcome. Does that make sense? So we don't want to say the wrong things. Sometimes we don't want to say anything. This is about knowing what to communicate and how to communicate it in a situation that is as serious and unexpected as what we see with the 8, the 3, and the 9. Okay, you want the very best outcome. You have this ability to know what to say or what not to say in order to minimize the pain going forward and to help to guarantee your transcendence, freedom, and leveling up. Okay, it could be that we need the Hierophant to sort of help us to know what to say, if that makes sense, okay? So the magician is trying to optimize, trying to be as flexible and as adaptable and as elastic as I need to be to make the very best of a kind of a cruddy situation. Okay? And right now that may be the very best thing that we can do is how to optimize a really crappy hand. You're dealt some cards that are just terrible. What's the best we can do with these cards? I'm thinking like poker or something, blackjack. I don't gamble, but I don't gamble because it feels like it is. It feels like there's no, and I'm probably wrong, but it feels like there's no strategy to it in a way, right? It feels like it's just kind of like it's just random, and you get what you get, and either you win or you lose, and then it's just. I don't believe in chance necessarily, so I feel like if I'm sort of pressing my luck, gambling, Spirit's going to say, "What do you think you're doing?" And I'm going to end up, losing my $5. So I don't gamble. This is not necessarily the card of gambling. This is the card of trying to have the right strategy, trying to use our own genius to feel like, okay, it's like you ever watch that show Chopped? On Food Network or whatever, the contestants all get a basket of these really weird ingredients that don't go together, that you wouldn't think go together, and the judges say, okay, you got 30 minutes, you got to use everything in the basket to make me a delicious meal, right? And they do it. They get 30 minutes and they figure it out, how to marry these things together and make it work. And I feel like sometimes life gives us a very odd basket, and we've got to figure out how to use what's in the basket to make the best thing we can. Okay? The universe card here is sort of in the obstacle position, or the fear. And I think the fear is that we're gonna lose our freedom. The fear is that our world is going to continue shrinking. Okay? The fear is that we're going to be cold and lonely, floating in outer space, not knowing which way is up or which way is down. Okay? I like that you have the Alpha and the Omega here, by the way. We're kind of worried maybe that this is the end of something. But the Fool's here to remind us that, no, it's just the beginning. Okay? This is the beginning of something really wonderful. This is not the end of the road for you. If this is a breakup, if this is a legal thing, if this is a financial thing, nothing, it's not an ending. It's not something that's going to drag on for years. Sometimes this card is kind of a delay, that we're worried that this is going to be a really long sentence, I don't feel like it is. This channel doesn't offer any kind of legal or medical or advice of any kind, really, right? Just showing you what's here, telling you what the energy is. We don't want this to be a long, drawn-out process. We don't want to feel as if our world is getting smaller. We don't want to feel that there are limitations and boundaries on us. We don't want to feel alone. We don't want to feel aimless. We don't want to feel as if we are floating around in space with no direction, right? In outer space, in the vacuum of space, you don't know which way's up or down, right? We're very disoriented. The Fool, as the final outcome here, to me feels like a release. It feels like we're getting through this, and maybe we are reinventing ourselves. Maybe we're kind of starting over, but we're doing it with a smile. Because now we're gonna rebuild our universe to look more like what we want. This is what we're building. Okay? We're not building anything else. And the Fool maybe is emerging here without much of a sense of direction, but in a good way. When we're here, it kind of feels like I don't want that kind of aimlessness. I don't want that lack of direction, because it feels isolating. It feels cold and lonely out here. The Fool, on the other hand, loves it. The Fool is like, I got freedom now. I'm happy now. Now I can do anything I want. Now I can do whatever. I can reinvent myself. I can start something new. I can be somebody new. I can have new relationships. There's a difference between starting from scratch and being sort of depressed about it, or starting from scratch and looking at it as an opportunity, you know? And that's why I think that we have to look at the ending really as a beginning. We could lament the fact that something has ended, or there is a separation in life, that we've been removed from something that we thought was going to stay in our lives. And it happened abruptly, right? We can lament that, or we can be sort of optimistic and hopeful that, hey, this is a new beginning. This is a chance for me to start over and build it up, kind of closer to my ideal. Like this could be a good thing. And it's all a matter of perspective, It's all a matter of how we're choosing to look at it. Okay, because again, we know in the vacuum of space, down could be up could be down. Let's look at the mystery card. I want, what did I say, a 9 or a 10? 9 or a 10 of cups, pentacles, maybe the Empress. I would like the Empress card, I think. I think that would be good. Or maybe the Lovers, your superpower card. Let's see what we have. 5 of cups, yeah. Makes perfect sense. Not much of a climax, but it's appropriate, right? It's disappointment. It's kind of saying like, yeah, I'm crying because those 3 cups are spilled. The abundance that I thought I had, the love that I thought I had, look, it's spilled out all over the ground. All the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into something, gone. Down the drain, right? And that's one way to look at it. And that's an accurate way to look at it. But then we see the 2 cups behind you. It's kind of like saying, we're looking at something, we've lost it, it's spilled, it's going down the drain, all those days or years wasted, we're crying. And then we say, que sera, sera. And we turn around and we pick up and we keep going. And then the Fool is kind of skipping along its merry way. Gonna build the life, gonna find the love, gonna get happy, gonna do it. So this is our ability to not detach from our emotions, but to process them, to go through the briar patch, feel the pain, and then let it go. On your own time scale. But that's what the Fool is doing. Crying, lamenting, feeling the feelings. Anytime we get a 5, it's Spirit's way of saying, look over here. You don't want to ignore your feelings. You don't want to deny how you feel. No, Spirit's saying, go through it. Go through the pain. Feel the pain of it. But then let it the heck go. And choose the love that is just right in the other direction from you. If this is a breakup, yeah, feel bad about it. Be sad. Don't ignore those feelings. But at some point we move on and we choose to look at this as an opportunity for something better. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.